Good afternoon, everyone. It's good to be in front of you all. I know we talked a lot about lunch and, one E which we forgot is possibly the energy. Overall, I liked your ways of looking at the letters. So I'll go into a presentation which, again, a bit of point of view also in what we have implemented in Capgemini. About myself, I started as an engineer with Larsen & Toubro. Of course, then went through different education programs. I'm leading something called as emerging practices as a global portfolio. I work through 50 countries, and of course, with certain portfolios from the quality management perspective as well. A lot of multiple domains I've entered. I've been a consultant throughout my life. Now settled into one profession as a central department. Some of the contributions in industry. I'm on a panel of CII as the senior assessor for business excellence, customer obsession. A lot of learning through these assessments. Then I also contribute to the standards, writing ISO standards, and certain different global frameworks. And of course, I've consulted closely with 25 plus companies which are globally. In my free time, family, camera, and bike. Now, being a photographer, I have tried not to make it very textual, so it'll not be too much of text. I'll try to show you a few pictures just to make my point across. So that's the modus operandi today. Who are we? Globally, we are around 23 billion euro company across 50 countries, 3.5 lakh people, 2 lakh in India, 1.5 lakh outside. Why I'm telling you this? It's not to brag, you'll realize, because I'm just trying to tell you the context where I'm coming from, and you'll be able to connect the dots, okay? Multiple footfalls. We are, of course, working with 85% of the globally known 200 FOB list. We have been on the ethics map. Our research institute is #1 for last many years. And of course, the sustainability goals we have been very active on, okay? Multiple service lines, and in IT services, typically we look at our products as applications, infrastructure, business services, research, engineering services, so there are a lot of things. Right? The only thing what we have to keep alive within us when we work with technology is not to forget that human element. So right from our CEO to all 50 countries CEO, we have a complete gamut of people sitting there as leaders. This is the common thread. A lot of focus on people, a lot of focus on culture, a lot of focus on making sure that when we talk about technology, it is with human touch, not without human touch. Yeah? Sustainability, again, a lot of stuff, and we have been leaders. We have been ranked as leaders on multiple surveys, multiple things. And the question which comes to people in our department, which is at the group level and working with 50 countries, how do we consistently deliver excellence? When we are working with over 6,000 companies across the globe, when we have 3.5 lakh people across the globe, in 50 countries, just imagine how many of the variables we need to control, right? So, of course, we have we focus, and I think we're very proud of the overall quality management program, what we have built. And we started looking at the dimension of sustainability, not the environmental part, but sustaining a value-providing quality management program a few years back, right? And we went to the books, theories, and the realization, Dr. Nikhil, from your pitch, who moved my cheese, our realization in that book is, oh, my cheese has moved again. Yeah, so we can't even find cheese at one place, and that's the dynamism in which we live in. So just to paint a picture of where we are, what we are doing, and why I was doing it, because our philosophy is very simple and very clear. We kept it simple. Internal context and external context. Unless we are aware of that, any quality management program will not succeed. We cannot take a quality management program from some other company, even if it is in the same field, and put it in ours. Absolutely not. And we have tried it, we have failed, we have learned, we have experimented, and that's what we are doing right now. Okay? So I'll paint some picture of the context, because we work with various industries, various domains. Digital. How many of us are here impacted by digital? Can I see some hands? Awesome. All right. IT, OT, and the new animals in terms of AI, Gen AI, all that stuff has started coming in. Yeah. Personalization. This is an upcoming thing, which is mass personalization, and that's where this AI, Gen AI, these combinations are trying to dive into, right? And all of us are going to be impacted irrespective of whatever companies, yeah, whatever industry domain, because we are working with multiple industry domains and we are in the heart of it, and we realize that that's where industry, that's where globe is going, yeah. Servitization, move from product to service-oriented model. Very different thought process. Right now, we talk about products, our SKUs, and da-da-da-da. Oh, forget about it, because now you are going to be service-oriented, which means you have to talk about people, personas, profile. Now, how do we connect that, right? Another challenge. Of course, responsible. Responsibility, environment, social, governance, whole lot of stuff, yeah? Now, of course, this is not a laundry list. It's just 4 categories which we keep in mind when thinking about the industry, right? About Capgemini, something, again, a lot of companies, a lot of perspectives, what is critical about us? We have a global model, global and local. So from management systems perspective, quality management systems perspective, we have 45 quality management system and 1 global quality management system, all right? And this is how a global environment works, because when I'm in Germany, the Germany regulations, even my quality management system is in Germany, is in German language. My French is, my system in France is French, right? We are, by the way, we are a French-based company, all right? Dynamic environment, everybody is aware of that. We keep acquiring companies. This is how we grow. Every year there is a new acquisitions by Capgemini. And the way it goes is that our quality management system keep on moving. We have to now think of variety there. The heart of it is people, right? Because we are a service company. How a person behave with a client in a particular environment, that's the control variable we work with, yeah? And of course, knowledge and acquisition, and we give a lot of weightage to culture dominance in terms of diversity. So it's a cultural diversity, that's what we focus on. Now, why is it important? Because if you're having a dialogue with a client, and you don't understand the culture which exists in that country, which exists in that company, which exists in that department, I don't think the solution will fit, right? So a lot of dynamic parameter which you will realize we deal with. Of course, we have quality management system, focused on, there are a lot of parameters to it. This is my way of summarizing our way of a standard or a traditional quality management system. You put a management system, focus on compliance, benchmark yourself, look at satisfaction. Now, which has evolved into the experience bracket, right? I'm just simplifying. I'm not going to talk about these because I think all of the people here, they are already aware of the management systems there. So what has changed for us? Well, diversity and dynamism is as never before. The cheese has moved again. As I was saying, the thing which was true yesterday is not true today. Every place, every contract, every engagement we work with, every company, it's so much of changes that what was true yesterday is not true today. We deal with it. Programs, traditional programs, ISO, CMMI, a plethora of them, they are now expected, business as usual. Nobody excites. Nobody gets excited when I talk about CMMI, ISO. I'm writing some of these standards, and when I present saying there is a new part which is coming up, nobody cares. Yeah, it's expected, but if you don't do it, we have a problem. Yes? We have funky words coming from IT, agile, agility, DevOps, and of course, we bring in all type of other models in it. They are new normal for us. Gen AI, low code, no code. So now we will not be needing developers, will not be needing testers, and we have 350,000 of them, 3.5 lakh of them. Now, that's the business context in which we are operating right now, correct? New engagement models are keep on evolving. We work with multiple engagement model. When we work with a company, we can say, okay, we will provide you 50 people, 500 people, 1,000 people, 2,000 people, or we sign up for an output or an outcome, saying that when you earn from what we do, you put a share back to us. We have these type of contracts also, and these are evolving. There's very much innovation which is going on. Technology advancements, experience is becoming the king more and more. Yeah. Security, data protection, new regulations. We are moving softly to the direction where every bit of data which you share is going to be a problem. We have to be very conscious about it. And I think Western world has been very comfortable with this. I've stayed in US for almost 10 years. I know that, how we guarded the information, our information. Here, I'm handing over my Aadhaar to everybody. Handing over my PAN to everybody. As a society, I don't think we are conscious enough right now. And this is not just India. There are many countries like that. So when we deal with it, I think the systems goes for a toss. Many people are working from home. Sustainability, open source, collaborative, and innovation is now expected. We used to be writing contracts saying 10% benefit by improvement. Now we write contracts on innovation, right? So now in this disruption, just imagine for a minute that the type of variety which exists, every work we pick up with every client in every country, in every industry domain, what do we do, right? And that's where we started looking at what is our results proportional to displayed behaviors, people. What are those displayed behaviors? System, skills, knowledge, attitude, tools, empowerment, and in the brackets I've written few words, which means we have found that what type of elements are actually connecting those. So if this makes sense to you, you can have a image. This is the model which we have been working with. Right? These are the variables which we are working with. Okay. Now, how do we solve it? Okay. I've told you the problem. I think most of my pitch was problem. We started looking at this theory. I don't know how many people have heard about Canevin model. No? Okay. From a management system environment perspective, Canevin is a new theory, around 15 years almost now in industry, which breaks our work environment, our decision-making system into 4 pieces. The first piece is simple, which is very clear. You have a predictability going on. You know the variables. You know the output. Just process. You sense, you categorize it, and you start moving. Complicated. It's more than that. You just don't sense, analyze, and respond. Oh, sorry, you don't sense, categorize, you analyze. You need experts. You need analytics behind it. And that's where the fun starts. Complex. There is no predictability. The cause and effect relationship is only in hindsight. Only you are aware of that after it happens. This is the reality of today, and I'll give you some quick example about that. And of course, chaotic. Now, you can all go back to internet and look for Canevin. It's fabulous. It has changed our way of architecting our management systems. Just to give you an example, processing, very controlled environment, you can still call it simple, predictable. Yeah? Aircraft, a lot of subsystems coming together, a lot of variabilities, complicated. Okay, how many of us are parents here? How many times you can predict with your kids? What do? You probe, you try, you sense, you respond. You keep building the model. And sometimes things are really chaotic. You just try to balance it and try, right? Now, when you look at this from this system, what does it mean? Your companies do not have one type of system. Your company has to have these 4 domains. You have to look at which type of emergent place, which is your emergent place, and where you really need to focus on the SOPs, which are the first one, predictability, the experts, and where do you have to start going into frameworks and principles-based management. Not command and control, but collaborative control. That's where it changed for us, right? And of course, mindset at the heart of it, okay? So that's where we do, what we did is we started looking at the new pieces in quality management from us, and these new pieces which we installed. A lot of focus on research. Research from practices, from technology perspective internally, to make sure, and it's very dynamic because the cheese has moved again, right? We have created sandbox environment. People right now are working on experimenting with Gen AI to say, okay, this is something which I have discovered. Now I have a responsibility to take it to 350,000 people to say, this guy know this. So sandboxes. Then we have a lot of conferences happening internally, a lot of think tanks. People are coming together. The energy, the vibrance has to come. People have to connect with that message. Yeah? So a lot of things, of course, unless we focus on leadership, unless we focus on finally bringing it back to system, nothing works. And that's where, I'll skip this. There's a lot of detail around it. But yes, if you see, rather than a very simple model, we have a little bit of web working as a central quality agency and working with even 50 quality departments across the country. We have leaderships, we have everything. So now we have created that type of an op model, which is flexible, but it still has a sense of direction. So again, it's just our view of how we have moved from one way of doing to accepting the Canevin in our management framework. That's all, I think, what I have. If you have any questions, I can take, otherwise, right?
Thank you very much. I think it was fascinating to know what you guys are doing. I really appreciate. Any questions? I'll pick one question. There are 2 ends, maybe we'll pick both the questions. Maybe. Okay, please go ahead.
Yeah, good afternoon, Kulpreet. Thank you for the nice presentation. You have shown, the quality system and how you evolved and implemented in your organization. You talked about acquisitions, like you do a lot of acquisitions. So let us say a new organization has their own set of working. And if you want to bring them in your flow, in your quality management system, you have shown the ways, but how much time it takes, normally to bring them at the pace Capgemini is driving the QMS.
Thank you for that question. And we always struggled with that because we were thinking about integration means there's a new entity, new kid in the block, bring him inside or bring her inside and now teach them how we do it. That's not how we work. Sometimes they teach us how to do it. So there are acquisitions where we have kept them as an independent entity for over 10 years.
Thank you. Thank you.
Before Mike goes to the next person, I have a question for you, sir.
Yes, sir.
You talked about diversity and 3 lakh people are there you are trying to put together.
3.5 lakh.
Yeah, 3.5 lakh, sorry. Yeah. So you're putting together a quality management system which is flexible and rigid too in some areas.
Thank you for calling it out.
Yeah, people talk about, if you want to do digitization, you need to standardize.
Exactly.
So how do you address this standardization, when you have so many islands of processes?
And it's a very relevant question, right? I don't think anybody in the industry has a clear answer to it. Yeah. The only answer exists is when you start doing a principle-based management. You start lifting from your processes from level 1 to 1, 2, 3, 4. You do level 4 standardization only in the cases of the first domain which I was showing.
Okay.
So we separate it out and look at standardization as not one piece, but standardization by these domains, which helps us saying, oh, in this domain, there is no standardization.
So that means you are following a hub and spoke model. There is a hub, and there is a small.
Absolutely, you can say that.
Okay, thank you.
But it's very variable.
So one question about the personal and professional life. I can see IT companies people, they're always stressed in work. And how your organization is maintaining the quality of life.
Thank you for
People,
that
yeah.
question.
And not only your organization, but all the organization, I see the IT people always working in the morning, evening, again the Saturdays, Sundays also I can see. Many of my friends are in the IT companies and they face a lot of challenges to handle their personal and professional life. So I think it's spoiling the quality of their personal life also. So how these IT companies are dealing with this?
We do not have an answer, honestly. We have the directions which we have chosen. Again, if you see, there are a couple of things here. We as a country, over a period of time, because of our demand-supply thing, we have taught world that they can exploit us. Which means it's expected out of us to work 24 hours. We are changing that. There is a control on that, there is a behavior pattern on that, we are observing that, and we're making sure. And of course, this comes by policies. But as I said, nothing gets guaranteed only by policies unless your level of leaderships start training themselves. And that's where a lot, when you saw a picture on leadership, in their curriculum itself, we talk about empowerment to your people and seeing that, yes, are your people happy with you or not? And we have a very strong rotation policy, very strong whistleblower policy. So as soon as you feel that there is something happening, organically it has to come out using the system and then get answered. But it's two level, policies and local level leadership, two level of controls.
Thank you. That was great session. I know I quickly summarize. One, you talked about diversity. You know, when you have diversity of 3.5 lakh people and how your company is managing the quality management system, that came across very well. And also, you gave a message that quality is hygiene. You know, it's not in the past, about 25 years back, we talk about quality. Now it has become a business as usual. That's the expectation. Third point, you talked about, you know, in IT, I also worked in IT services company and also product company. People look for value creation.
Absolutely.
Okay. The value creation or outcome based, you know, this one is become
Yep.
mantra.
Yep.
Thank you for giving such a wonderful talk. So
I just have one correction in that though.
yeah.
Quality is not hygiene, traditional quality is hygiene.
Okay, thank you.
We have to reinvent ourselves.
Yes,
Yeah?
thank you.
Just to be sure.
Yeah, thank you.